Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, the private autopsy has been released, and we're going to watch what Ben Crump says. Now, one thing I want y'all to know, when they sent Nolan Wells' remains to a private coroner, his throat was missing. So they were still able to do the autopsy, but it's unknown why Mississippi hung on to his throat. So, you're going to hear that come up along with, it wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear, but I understand you got to start somewhere. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Yeah, I think they did that on purpose. They withheld his throat on purpose. It must be something about it they did not want to be seen. Thank you.
Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026. Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. And we'll explain that as we go through the report this morning. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation. Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells, age 18 years old, race, Black, gender, male, date of death, unknown. Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings, and this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time.
Okay, so they found a long red mark in the back of Nolan's head. Now, if he drowned, where the hell did that mark in the back of his head came from? So right there, it's debunking what those white teenagers told the authorities. If he did drown, where did this red mark in the back of his head came from? All right. And where the hell is his throat? I want to know why they took his throat out and then sent his body off to another autopsy and know damn well they didn't give everything that should have been given. So I see a lot wrong already.
He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation. He said corona incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso, and he talked about the organs being removed, as is common, accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they're dissected and examined, and then they're put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute. And then it talks about the additional procedures performed during the second autopsy. And we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative.
Hey guys, an update for everybody on the Nolan Wells.
Yeah, what I want to say, I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, you know, they were not really able to come up with what happened, but I think it's best to do that than to say it was an accidental drowning or a drowning, because it gets those white teens off the hook. So in my opinion, it's better for them to say undetermined than to say, oh, he drowned or it was an accident, because then they are free from any accountability as far as what happens. So it still holds their feet to the fire. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather for them to say that than give those white teens an out. So let's go on.
Case. Nolan Wells, of course, is the young man who was found dead on Horn Island in Mississippi, went with friends on July 4th. So there was a private autopsy done. He's got attorney Benjamin Crump. They organized a private autopsy with a forensic pathologist in Washington, D.C. And Crump just gave the results of that autopsy, which essentially were inconclusive. They were not able to come up with a cause of death and said it's pending further investigation. There were some interesting areas that he highlighted on the back of the head, a red area on the back of the head, but he also said the forensic pathologist noted that there were things that he couldn't tell because there were parts of the body that were missing, which again, this was the second autopsy. So there was an official autopsy done in Mississippi by the state authorities there. And sometimes what I've seen is they'll send certain parts out for further testing. But that's all sort of unclear. I guess the headline is that it's still inconclusive. I'm going to try to dig into more of this today with a forensic pathologist I know, but I wanted to give you guys the update because Ben Crump just had a press conference.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Wait. Y'all remember when I said this? The Jackson County Sheriff's Office don't want to release them goddamn autopsy results. They want to get the autopsy results from that independent autopsy before they release theirs. Yo, and guess what Ben Crump just said?
We are looking to have findings sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to time. We got the body almost 6 days later, Dr. Roger Mitchell. So there are limitations as to what he could do.
Can you confirm?
Huh? Yo, I told y'all he did not want to release them autopsy reports until Jackson released theirs. What? I told y'all that shit. But everybody was like, you don't know the fuck you talking about. You that wrong. Yeah, now what the fuck you gotta say, motherfuckers? Yeah.
I'm here for a Nolan Xavier Wells update, and this is a tough one. I know, like a lot of you, I'm watching the autopsy report, and the cause of death is undetermined. It's so emotional hearing them talk about this beautiful, beautiful man, this child taken way too early in this kind of way. And you see racists in the comments saying, you guys owe those boys an apology, the white boys. No, we don't owe anybody an apology because they didn't send the throat. They didn't send the throat. They didn't send certain parts of the body. And they said his body was too decomposed. Why do you think? It seems like they waited long enough for the body to decompose so you couldn't see bruising. Now, there were no fractures on the body, but in the report, there is a huge red line on the back of his head. How do you get that from drowning? Also, when they found him, when he had drowned, he had all of his clothes on. In every little video we've seen of him, he's only in his blue bathing suit. So this still stinks. This still sounds like Mississippi is covering up another wrongful death of a black man. All right. And I'm so tired of people saying race baiting. This is all about race, because if he was white, we wouldn't even be here. The first initial report would have given us everything we needed, but it is obvious that Mississippi is withholding information. I mean, why would they not send every single part of this beautiful boy to the second autopsy? So it's undetermined at this point, and it means that there is further investigation needed. But again, let's ask, why was the throat not included? He said he cannot determine a cause of death without that. He can't determine that he wasn't choked, that something happened. And it's heartbreaking. Please pray for the family. I can only imagine having to sit through and listen to this. It's heartbreaking, and we need justice for Nolan Xavier Wells. Secret Service Sam Out Samson for president of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There is no reason why they should have shipped his body off without everything being there. So Mississippi, there's no excuse, but you got the worst reputation when it comes down to racism in the country. Mississippi, we can go back 50 and even 100 years and see the racism that came out of Mississippi. Y'all don't change that damn much. Daughter of Yah, thank you for the 10 gems. Anthony Bates, hey, good to see you, Anthony. 10 gems. And again, Daughter of Yah, 10 gems. Thank you so much for your support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. And again, Daughter of Yah, 30 gems. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, Mississippi was that state when all the things were going on with segregation, they were railing against segregating. And they had to send the feds down there to make them follow the law. They were going out of their way not to follow federal law. They had to be forced to do it. And I remember that, learning that in the history. So at the end of the day, am I surprised? No, because we know if they're going to cover for anybody, it's going to be for those those white boys and their parents. That's who they're looking out for. They're not, that state ain't looking out for no damn, man, please. They ain't looking out for Nolan. I know that right off the bat. Y'all ain't looking out for Nolan. You're looking out for yourselves and the people that look like you. So, yes, the family is going to have to keep on fighting and demand that the throat be given to their private coroner that did the autopsy. So they're withholding it for a reason, y'all. There's something about that throat they don't want anybody to see. Absolutely. Carrie Jones, thank you for the 10 gems. Cy Billy Lee, thank you for the 200 gems. Lisa Parker, thank you for the 10 gems. And Dorothea Knox, thank you for the 10 gems. I thank all of you for your support for my channel. I deeply do. So let's hope that they will get that throat and send it over so they can complete the autopsy. So I think they went over as much as they could, dealing with the circumstances. But if Mississippi don't give that throat to the private coroner, it should be some kind of fine they should get hit with. It should be some consequences for withholding parts of a person's body when you know an autopsy is being done. There should be consequences for that. They shouldn't just be able to do that and get away with it. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Let me see. I want to make sure I got everybody. I think I did. Yeah, I did. So, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully in the coming days, we'll find out even more about, this particular case and the autopsy, because Mississippi, they got to release their autopsy too. So maybe they will, now that the private one was done and we now know the throat wasn't there, perhaps they'll come forward with their autopsy. So y'all have a wonderful afternoon. Don't forget to pick up your hair products. Shalom, family.